And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Wednesday, July 19th, 2023. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this webcast, you can go to weather.gov. I include this just as a way to let you be aware of this is the National Weather Service's online presence. Many of us who live in Alaska have friends and family throughout the nation, or we're coming and going for various reasons, whether it's for work or for pleasure. And to get a snapshot about what's going on in the lower 48 quickly this Wednesday afternoon, heat. We have excessive heat across the deep south, south central U.S., as well as the southwest. And this is ongoing. In fact, Phoenix now is on the order of approaching 2 weeks of 110 degree plus heat, and that is a record for them. And the heat will continue across the southern continental U.S. Up around Hawaii, we've had impacts from Tropical Storm Kelvin moving through the area, but fortunately no reports of any significant problems. Here in Alaska, we still have a number of rivers remaining high, having high water levels with swift flows. We had rainfall this past weekend, the Susitna coming up, the Kenai running high. This is the fishing season. A lot of people are out recreating, so be careful there. We have some much warmer temperatures that'll be arriving over the weekend, especially over the interior. 80s, maybe even a few 90-degree readings will be possible, and as that happens, that'll cause the fire danger to tick upward. We're also seeing some haze. We've had reports from the Fairbanks office of some haze coming into the interior now from those Canadian wildfires, and that may increase a bit here over the weekend and into early next week. And then the Juneau forecast office continues to watch Suicide Basin Glacial Lake. It's filling. It has not released yet, but again, I'll keep a close eye on that for when that may occur. Looking at some of the FAA webcams this afternoon up in the central interior, Alacaquette building cumulus clouds that could lead to an isolated thunderstorm. Temperatures already, as of 2 o'clock, 76 degrees. Seward, on the other hand, there's an area of moisture I was telling you about yesterday that was going to ride along the northern Gulf Coast and then kind of back toward the eastern Kenai. And they're seeing some lower clouds and some light rain this afternoon with temperature of only 56 degrees. Yesterday morning, that would have been Tuesday morning, July 18th, Shishaldin volcano had an eruption. It sent a plume of ash up to 30,000 feet. There was a SIGMET issued, but the prevailing winds took that ash down out over parts of the North Pacific south of the Alaska Peninsula. The good news is at least Shishaldin now has been less active today, and we're not anticipating any significant activity, at least here in the short term. Looking at any advisories, watches, or warnings, we really don't have any of those right now. There was a special weather statement for the Tanana River running at higher levels, so something else to keep in mind, one of those rivers that are seeing higher water levels. And then fire danger, looking at the grass component where grass could contribute to fire danger. It is highest here in the central interior, and with the warmer temperatures that are going to be setting up here through the weekend, we expect grass as a carrier fire. That will be increasing the fire danger, especially there throughout areas of the interior, even along the north slope. And then the spruce component to fire danger is highest in the western part of the Yukon Flats. Still has yet to come up, but that's something to keep in mind as some warmer temperatures occur. Now, we've also had some thunderstorms trying to form here in areas of the east central interior. And that'll be the case once again through late this Wednesday afternoon and evening. There has been much warmer temperatures also reported across the North Slope to the northwest Arctic coast. In fact, Utqiagvik has hit 70 degrees this afternoon. And we've seen where this area of clearing runs right down here through kind of the just west of the center line there of the interior, if you run north-south. We've seen temperatures jump up into the 70s. A few spots will hit or maybe even just break 80 degrees. Remnant moisture curling around a low that continues to sink southward out of the Gulf. That is what's brought more clouds and the rain into Prince William Sound along the eastern Kenai. Some of that moisture will try to back up all the way into Upper Cook Inlet to try to get into Anchorage, maybe a few light showers, but shouldn't be anything like the weekend rain. Then out here to the west, we've had a front come in to the west and southwest coast weaken, bringing some light rain showers and a pretty good stream of moist and warmer air out here across the lower Bering Sea. So here's that low beginning to sink south-southeastward past the Gulf into the North Pacific. We have a thermal trough of low pressure across areas of the northern interior into northwest Canada, high pressure way up in the Arctic Ocean. And then back here to the west, we have a few disturbances. What was once a front crossing the Bering yesterday is kind of weakened, broken up into a couple of troughs. That'll be the case as we go into later tonight and early on Thursday morning. That trough energy will still try to push inland a little bit, not making a lot of progress, but it will have some moisture with it. So areas along the west coast, Seward Peninsula, especially surrounding Norton Sound, and the Waikate deltas could pick up some areas of light rain or light rain showers. Very weak high pressure centered over the north central Gulf, but again, not an especially strong feature. And then we have a bigger, stronger high in the North Pacific south of the eastern Aleutians. By Thursday afternoon, we'll still kind of have this troughiness just lingering out here across areas of the southwest interior, extending into like Bethel, lower Yukon Delta, on up through the lower middle Kuskokwim Basin. And then a scattering of showers and thunderstorms possible across areas of the interior. As I mentioned, temperatures are going to be warming going into the weekend. By Friday, the surface high is going to start to build here over the mainland, and also a reflection of a ridge of high pressure aloft. It's also going to help things warm here, especially either side of the Yukon River between the Alaska Range and Brooks Range. We're looking at widespread 80s and maybe even a few lower 90s readings here, especially by Sunday. Another frontal system and low out back toward the lower Bering Sea, but that will not have much of an impact except for along areas of the southwest coast and the Alaska Peninsula. Meanwhile, warming up here across the interior. So lows Thursday morning are generally going to be lower 50s across the Panhandle. If there's some clearing, you could see some lows dip down into the 40s here, northeastern Gulf around Yakutat, back up toward the Copper River Basin, Cordova. And then on Thursday afternoon, still some cloudiness lingering here across Cook Inlet, the Matsu Valley, so temperatures mainly in the 60s, 75 though up there at Glen Allen. And with some sun, we could see 75 degrees or so, Juneau, Skagway. And for Friday morning, lows again, low to mid 50s Panhandle, lower 50s across much of South Central. And temperatures with maybe a smidgen more sun getting back up above 70 in the Copper River Basin and up through the Susitna, Matsu Valleys. And then looking at lows for Thursday morning, lows will be in the 50s to near 60 degrees, warmest readings around Fairbanks and Fort Yukon, and even relatively mild readings in the 40s to near 50 along the Arctic coast and Seward Peninsula. And look at the temperatures, 70s more widespread, even through areas of the North Slope. And it could be up in the 80-ish or so here at Fort Yukon, Eagle, approaching 80 at Fairbanks. And Friday morning lows generally upper 50s for the Yukon River Valley, and then back to the north and west. Some upper 40s along the Seward coastline, Nome on up toward Wales and Teller, as well as Point Hope. And then temperatures Friday afternoon, starting to see those 80s become a little more established here across east central areas, and this warmth will be all through here Saturday into Sunday. So get ready for some much warmer temperatures. In the southwest, rather cool cloud cover, some light rain occurring lower Yukon Delta around Kuskokwim Bay with that weakening frontal system or trough that's working its way inland and just kind of stall out and wash out across this area. And temperatures under the clouds will only be in the 50s, mid-50s for highs on Thursday. Further east, if you get a smidgen of sun just on the other side of the Alaska Range, McGrath could be up there around 74. Friday morning, lows generally anywhere from upper 40s to low 50s across the southwest interior, lower 50s Alaska Peninsula, upper 40s near 50 eastern Aleutians. And again, most of the cloud cover and chance of some lighter precipitation lingering over this region as we go through the day on Friday. And a quick check again of the extended temperature outlook, July 25th through the 29th. Now, this is to keep in mind, not quite the end of the month, but the focus for warmest temperatures being above normal would be along the Yukon River between the Alaska Range and the Brooks Range. So that would tend to be temperatures in the 80s with perhaps a few isolated 90-degree readings. But overall, the mainland is looking warmer here as we head toward the end of July, with near normal temperatures as you extend out along the Alaska Peninsula into the Aleutians and across the southern half then of the Panhandle. And precipitation-wise, precipitation may end up just a little above normal in the north, especially upper Yukon Valley. That would be more of a response as a result of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of the convection can put down some brief heavy downpours. So that area there, Yukon Flats, could see a little above normal precipitation. Otherwise, precipitation is expected to be near normal across much of the southern mainland, including the Alaska Peninsula and the Panhandle.